Welcome back. We're here with Kailey from Manifest with Kailey. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. How are you doing?
Thank you so much for having me. I am doing so good, having the best day ever so
Yes,
far. How about you?
fantastic. It took us a little bit to get in the room with each other to do this, but as you know, everything happens when it's supposed to. So, very excited to dive into your expertise on this entire topic of manifestation. So, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
So, can you walk us through how does someone begin manifesting their dream life?
What a question. What a way to start us out. Yeah. Um, it's crazy because a few years ago I might have been like, "Oh, we'll just visualize it and act like you're there." And the more I dive into the neuroscience, the more I realize that our brains are specifically wired to create our realities. Like, we are creators. We are constantly creating our realities no matter what. Your life right now is a summation of your subconscious beliefs. So, in order for someone to begin building out their dream life, it first starts in your subconscious mind. I actually just learned this week. Really cool fact is that from ages 0 to 7, you're literally in like walking hypnosis.
Wow.
You are being completely wired, your subconscious mind. You at that age, you don't have an analytical mind to be like, that's stupid. I'm not gonna believe that. AKA Santa Claus. Santa Claus. You hear something and it's fact. So anything you're told from ages 0 to 7, like it's going to be really hard to get a job one day, or like the world is so tough, it's so hard to make money, you're not that smart, you're not that good at this. Anything you hear is subconscious programming, and your subconscious programs are the lenses in which that you perceive reality for the rest of your life until you decide, I want to change them. So in order to begin to live your dream life, you first have to get really honest with yourself of like, what do I actually believe right now? What are the things in my life that I'm like, this is just who I am. I'm just this way. It's just really hard for me to lose weight. It's just really hard for me, who I am, to get that kind of job. Like, I'm just not meant for that kind of life. And like asking yourself, is that a belief that I want to adopt and hold on to? Because you get to choose. You get to choose the beliefs that create your reality. And from then, it's beginning to rewire those beliefs at the source. And all it takes, the cool thing about this is it's so simple. All it takes is repetition and elevated emotion. That's how neural pathways are formed.
Wow.
Repeating a belief, finding evidence for why it's true, not that later in the future when you have all the things in line, but now, finding how it's true now, and an elevated emotion accompanied with it. And what happens there is that new belief begins to form. And as that new belief begins to form, this old neural pathway dies out, and then boom, you have a new belief. You perceive reality in a new way. You begin attracting opportunities. You begin sending, literally, your brain will send signals to your body, send new dopamine, serotonin, to get you excited to do the things that once scared you, to get you excited to go to the gym where you once hated going. So it's like this thing that I like to call actionless action, where you don't feel like you're grinding and trying to take action. It's like the action just takes
Yeah.
you because you've rewired your subconscious to now see an entirely new reality. So, um, way to dive in on the
Yeah.
first.
Yes. Yes. And, I think this idea of manifestation is, like you said in the beginning, it's very, um, the perspective on it is very skewed sometimes, especially in the spiritual community. What do you think the traditional spiritual community gets wrong about manifestation?
Okay. Oh, what a question. Such a good question. Because I kind of play with this too. I don't want to say it's not magic because it is magic. It is magic that our brains give us this opportunity to create our realities. And it's not magic in that, oh, it's just so mystical and I don't know how it happens. And every once in a while it happens and then it doesn't happen. Or like, I'm really good at manifesting in this area. A lot of people will say this. I'm so good at manifesting in this area, but in this area, I'm like, it doesn't work for me over there. I'm like, well, like, it's it's not mystical and magical in the way that like you can't tap into it. It's mystical and magical in the beauty that our brains give us the exact formula to create our realities. And I think that in the spiritual community, it can be perceived as um, like if you're magic enough,
Yeah.
then you can manifest. And um it's a lot more simple than that. I really want to simplify manifestation to its purest form, so that it's accessible to everyone. Like, you don't have to be spiritual, you don't have to be um elevated in this amount of way or the right frequency in order to be able to attract what you want. You got to put reps in, and
Yeah.
you got to elevate your emotion, and that's how simple it can be, you know.
So, what do you think like that one skill is that people need to build to get out of that chaotic loop to then take them into a new loop of actually living the life that they actually want to?
um it's focus, your capacity to focus, and your emotional capacity and intelligence within your body. The reason being is if you are really reactive, everything is happening to you, and all these emotions are happening to you, and you have no idea like what's going on ever. You don't get to see the medicine in these emotions. Your emotions are meant to show you where you're out of alignment and to be the compass and ask you, hey, there's this part of yourself that either wants to be seen, felt, or experienced. Can you experience that? Can you learn from it? And so the emotional piece is really important there. And then your intention and your focus. If you can't focus on what you want, if you can't focus on the present moment, if you can't focus on creating in your subconscious mind using your imagination, essentially, you're everywhere.
Yeah.
You're everywhere, and you're nowhere, you know? Um so that's like really the two skills that I practice most through meditation. And also emotional resilience. Like, when I do feel sad or frustrated or angry, am I allowing myself to
Yeah.
experience that? And those two feel like also the pathways to repetition and elevated emotion, you know? So it's like life is a playground, and every scenario is an opportunity to get better at creating. Every scenario is an opportunity to practice your focus, to practice your emotional capacity and resilience. And the more that you tune into those in every area, the more you fine tune your alignment and your capacity to create.
What I found very fascinating, and this is something that I built myself 6, 7 years ago, is the ability to feel your feelings. And I think a lot of people don't have this ability because they're running away from it. They're trying to avoid feelings or trying to go after certain feelings. So they don't even have the skill of self awareness, like where they can truly sit with something and they're like, and just be in that moment and feel those feelings without actually acting on it. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's like everyone just, like you said, they're just acting on their feelings and they're not actually living the life they want while the feelings are there. Um, and you know, what about those family members or those people that say, "Oh, well, I have to pay my bills. I have kids. I have 2 jobs. I don't have time to worry about this, this spiritual type stuff because I'm living life."
Oh, I could like run around the room right now with excitement about this one. Yeah, it's the most important thing that you could do with your life is create it. Everyone talks about it, you know, YOLO, you got one life. Um, and we want all these things. I want all the money, I want the girls, I want the success, the freedom to be able to travel. Everyone is in this frequency of want. I'm going to tell you what happens when you want. This one is kind of mind blowing. When you want something, say, I want $1 million. What my subconscious does is my reticular activating system, it's the part of my brain that is constantly looking for evidence for why my beliefs are already true. When I have a belief that I want $1 million, what my reticular activating system does is it goes about and looks for reasons, all the reasons why I don't have $1 million. And it's just doing its job. It's not trying to harm me. It's just doing what it's meant to do. And so what happens when I'm looking for all of the evidence that I don't have $1 million is my reticular activating system works with my nervous system, works with my body, and it will make sure that I do not get $1 million. And so then that means, like, when it's time for me to show up to work, when it's time for me to get a new job, when it's time for me to take a risk on something, all of a sudden cortisol floods my body. All of a sudden my dopamine decreases. All of a sudden I don't have the energy to do what I want to do because I'm in this frequency of want. So when I say it's arguably the most important thing that you could do with your life is to understand how to be in this frequency of having by simply changing your thoughts,
Yeah.
elevating emotions. When you have it, your brain does the work for you. You don't have to try, you don't have to grind, you don't have to work extra hours if you don't want to. It's literally within our DNA, our bodies, to be able, it can be easy for you. It can be simple. You could do less hours, like your beliefs, your choice, you know?
But that's different than just sitting in your bed and meditating for 10 hours, right? Like there's a gap between like you believing it versus you putting in action. Like there still has to be something to back your belief to make it happen.
That's true. That's the evidence piece. So it's a combination of, like, yeah, we're meditating to practice focusing, but
Yeah.
meditation is a practice for a reason. It's practicing for life,
Yeah.
you know? The evidence pieces of, like, I'll give an example of one of the ways that I found evidence was I see more money around me every single day. And I'm not saying that I'm getting cash money into my bank account every single day, because that would be hard to prove if it wasn't happening. And if it wasn't happening, then my reticular activating system would be looking for why it's not happening, which would then add more fear. Which is why it's really important not to say affirmations like, I'm a millionaire. If you're not a millionaire, you're actually adding more fear into your system and looking for evidence for why you're not a millionaire. So provable affirmations, really important. And then when I begin to find evidence that money's all around me, I'm like, I've got, like, I don't know, an $800 phone. That's money. I'm in a house right now. That's money. I live in Southern California. That's fucking money. You know, I see money all around me. And what that does is it trains my reticular activating system to look for money, to look for more money to come to me. And that's the action that I'm taking, you know? And what I mean by actionless action is not like I'm not taking action. It's that my brain, my subconscious mind, which makes up 95% of my reality, is literally sending signals to my body to make me excited to make money. So that I don't feel like I'm like, oh, I have to work on this today. I'm not like, ugh, like struggling to make it
Yeah.
happen. I'm stoked because my 95% that's creating my reality is sending signals to my body to get excited to make money.
Yeah.
And that, because
Yeah.
that, like, you feel the difference between, like, the actionless action versus, like, taking action because it's no, you know what you need to do.
Yeah, it's like effortless. Like you actually want to do it versus having to drag ass to be like,
Exactly.
I don't want to go work out, or I don't want to do this, or I don't want to do this. And why do you think, as a woman, stepping into your true feminine energy is so important?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Okay, this one, I'm really allowing myself to, like, dive deeply into this feminine receiving energy, because as a feminine woman specifically, one of two things, like, really stands out to me. One is that we literally create life within our wombs. We are creators. We have a portal, a passageway to create
Yeah,
life. And the other side of it is, like, that feminine energy, what is it known for? It's known for the ability to receive and the ability to attract. Just women in general, they're fucking beautiful. They attract, you know? And when you think about both of those in terms of manifestation, in terms of creating your reality, recognizing that you are designed to create, designed to attract, designed to receive. Why the fuck would I go out into a world and be like, I'm gonna hustle and grind and work my ass off to get what I want when I'm literally wired to attract, receive, and create? And I think that I'm not like put down by it. I'm not saying it's so bad, but we do live in a world that is pretty masculine structured as far as like the workflow, and a lot of things are like you grind, you hustle, you work your way up the corporate ladder, and
Yeah.
that's how you quote unquote make it in life. And we don't have a lot of examples of what it looks like to be successful, fulfilled, and happy by allowing yourself to simply receive, to create, and allowing yourself to really step into this feminine, surrendered receptivity means that it can be easy. And I say that, and so many people get so triggered when I say that it can be easy. Why? Because it's hard for them. And they want more proof and more evidence for why it has to be hard. When I say
Yes.
it can be easy, I don't mean that there aren't challenges. I mean that it's possible to surrender into the challenges when you know that everything is working in perfect harmony. And when you know that everything is working in perfect harmony, everything's happening for you. Everything is happening
Yeah.
for your highest good, for your ability to attract anything that you want to do. And it's like it's a fucking superpower that women are just like, oh, no, that makes me weak. Oh, no, that means I'm not going to be successful. Oh, I'm like, come on, y'all. We got this.
Yeah.
We got this.
Absolutely. And I think there is this idea of like, oh, if I'm feminine, that means like I'm just gonna be bossed around and I'm gonna be, be submissive and be all of these negative things that come with being feminine. But just like a man being masculine, when you step into those true roles, especially when you combine them and you're a couple, that's when things can even get even better. And I think that was by design by the people in power to twist all that stuff and make it confusing. Um, but on Instagram, you also have um, a saying that you have the best day ever every day. Could you kind of talk about how this started and what it means to you?
Yeah, yeah. It started as a joke, honestly. I was like, I had seen like there's like stickers that say best day ever. It's definitely not like mine, but I've seen it out there. And then my friend Sam, she would say it all the time, and I was like, yeah, best day ever. And then I was like, wait, what if I like actually played this, you know? When I started playing, I was like, yeah, but no way I could have the best day ever every single day. Because some days are hard, some days like suck, and that's okay for it to suck.
Yeah.
And then I started playing, and I was like, well, what if like it was still the best day ever, even though it was hard? What if it was the best day ever, even though I had challenges? What if I could always find the magic in every single day? And the more that I played it, the more that I wired my subconscious mind to have this belief that today is the best day ever. And then without even me intentionally doing it all the time, this like miracle would show up. And it was because I wired my subconscious mind to find evidence that today was the best day ever. And I've had some like really cool things happen. The one that like really blew up was I found jellyfish while I was on a walk. And I was just like, no way, like, no way, jellyfish, are you kidding me? Um, and people really love that. I think because they just like felt the genuine
Yeah.
joy in it, and like the capacity that like, yeah, like you can get that stoked. You can be that stoked about life. And I felt like what really pulled people to it was that like that kind of like hope of like, wait, this is a possibility. Like you
Yeah.
can be this genuinely stoked. And that's that's it now. I'm like, all right, every single day. That's the kind of vibe. And I'm not by any means like, I mean, I cry a lot. I get sad a lot. I get frustrated a lot. I'm not peak joy every single day 24/7, but I am having the best day every single
Yeah.
day. And I feel like holding those two um, as the ability to happen at the same time is a really profound shift.
Well, you're allowing yourself to fully feel feelings and enjoy the experience of feeling something. It's not just it's not that you're labeling it like, oh, I'm feeling sad or I'm feeling bad. And I actually realize this once you really sit with feelings and you strip the labels away, they all feel the same. Like a sad feeling feels the same way as a happy feeling if you really sit and you meditate and you feel it without a label on it. And once I unlock that, and the same with you, it's like, oh my gosh, feelings are just feelings. I can fully feel them and still live the life I want and not be dictated and take action based on them. So
Mm,
that was a huge unlock for me, and I think a lot of people, because like you said, when they're in their day to day life, they never stop and actually feel what they're experiencing. They're just living life; they're not feeling it and embracing it. I have two more questions for you.
perfect.
So on Instagram, you said that shit is not linear on one of your posts, and like on that topic, why do you think humans, especially like in America, think like everything should just be like in a straight line, like things should be good all the time, like everything should just be going straight.
Wow, what a question. This one's good. I feel like, okay, this is good. This is really good. So we have this as humans to try to feel safe. What we do is we create an expected reality in front of us. We create a future that we think is going to happen. And then it doesn't happen, and we're like, oh my God, I can't believe it didn't happen. Or we're expecting something bad to happen.
Yeah.
And then it does happen. And then you're like, still bummed that it happened. And what I'm really, really finding is like when you are simply here, you're not there, you're not behind you, you are only here, only in the present moment do you have access to infinite possibilities. That is not linear. That is scary to surrender to. You have no idea what's happening next. And the cool thing is, or maybe not cool, we never know.
Yeah.
You think that you know. Everyone wants to feel so safe. This is how it goes. You go to school, you go to college, and then you do this, and then you get a job, and then linear. We love
Yes.
linearity because it provides safety. But when you are confining yourself to that safety, you're confining yourself to miracles, infinite possibilities, multiple realities. There's so many options when you allow yourself to rest in the present moment, but that's a scary practice. And most people would rather stick to their lie of what the future they think is going to be rather than practice sitting in infinite possibilities that they don't know. They don't know what it's going
Yeah.
to be.
I agree. I think so many people like things planned out because it gives them that sense of I'm safe or the illusion that I'm safe, and it's not. And then like you said, then something bad happens and then they're just crushed. And it's like, well, it's because you thought everything was okay when it's not. Things are going to happen, and it just is your perspective and your ability to realize that you don't know you know what's going on at all.
Exactly. Ever.
No,
No one ever knows.
I have one more question for you. If you could have dinner with two people, one person from the past and one person from the present, who would it be and why?
This is so good. Well, the first person that comes to mind is Jesus, from the past. I just feel like there's so much mythology about that guy, and I would love to know his real experience.
Yes.
I'm also really inspired by him, by the stories around like coming down to earth, being like, hey guys, this is what's possible in the human body. Now, here you
Yeah.
go do it. Um, so that's for sure who would be in the past. And then in the present, um, I've never thought of this before. I will say that I'm going to a music festival in May called Lightning in a Bottle, and there's this guy who's going to be there. His name is Matthias DeStefano, and he remembers all of his past lives.
Wow.
And I would love, but he's like, so he's so like deep, but he's also so playful and like just here to have the human experience because he's like, I don't know what life will be next, so like I'm gonna have fun in this one. Um, I feel like it'd be really cool to have dinner with him.
Awesome. That's great. The Jesus one is always interesting to me because so many lies about him, so much things are hidden about him. I want to know what not only what he experienced, but what he meant by the words that he said. Because I think our interpretation of things that he said and what they actually mean, I think they are two completely. I don't think we have any idea what he means by what he's saying in the Bible or what we're reading in the Dead Sea Scrolls or other things. I think there's a whole different meaning to the things he's saying. So that's always one of my favorite ones to sit down with. But that's all the questions I have for you. How can people find you? And what is one thing you want to leave people with?
Oh, beautiful. Um, find me on Instagram, Manifest with Kailey, and I would love, I would love to offer the ability to take radical responsibility over your reality. And all of those beliefs of like I was talking about earlier, like I'm just this way, this is just who I am. Like really sitting down, like is that who you want to be for the rest of your life? Because your dreams, those aspirations, everything that you want in your life are literally placed in you because you are meant to obtain them. You are meant to be that version of yourself. And every day you stop yourself from that, you're not only depriving yourself of living fully and authentically and in love with life, but you're also depriving everyone else around you who wants to feel that, who wants to feel your full expression, to be able to raise collective consciousness, to be able to just like make people around you more stoked to be alive.
That's beautiful. Well, Kaylee, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you and all the knowledge you shared. It was a great conversation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the amazing
Of
questions, too.
course.
That was awesome.
Thank you.